Welcome. Today is actually the 5th Stress Management Workshop for Leeds Beckett University. I've just done a sound check. I believe that everyone who's joined can hear me okay, which is fantastic. If you do have any questions along the way, feel free to drop the questions in now, or maybe you can wait for your questions to be answered at the end. I'll leave like a few minutes towards the end for a little Q&A. But today we have half an hour, so between 5:30 and 6 o'clock today, where we're going to be talking about self-care. But just to recap on the previous weeks, to keep you updated, if you wanted to maybe ping back to the other workshops that we've done, the first week, week number 1, was Are You Stressed? A very important assessment stroke questionnaire, 25-part questionnaire. If you were struggling with stress, or you think that you might be tackling some stress issues right now, in terms of your mental and physical well-being, then absolutely fine with this current situation. It's very understandable. Most people are going through quite difficult times, if not, challenging times in many different ways. And yeah, we're all in this together. But sometimes you may not even realise, that you're stressed, and it could be that you're experiencing stress for the first time in your life ever. So yeah, head over to the Are You Stressed workshop. I'll put the link on the recorded version. If you just want to maybe want to jot down the link right now, it's bit.ly, so bit.ly for Lee / Are You Stressed Beckett. And there were like 3 categories that you could have fallen into, and anything over the 14 points bracket, I would have encouraged you to start making change in your life, because it's probably around about, where you are in the 14 points plus bracket that you need to start looking about, how you're processing the current situation, and it's time to start implementing change to avoid stress really taking hold, because it's when you leave stress unchecked that you can actually run into problems again with your physical and mental health. So, and if you are a little bit worried and you do score in the 14 points plus brackets, then feel free to give me a shout anytime. You can find me on Facebook, and obviously through Leeds Beckett University as well. But yeah, I don't want to alarm you too much, but obviously I think by scoring 14 points plus, you need to start making change in your life, and there's more information in that workshop. So week number 2 was analysing your here and now, and the link for that, if you want to go to that after this workshop, is bit.ly, so bit.ly / analyse your here and now Beckett. Now, it's a very robust and proven tool that I used. It's actually the Wheel of Life, and we discuss the 8 main areas of your life with 4 extra areas that I included, because usually there's 8, but actually I included 12 altogether. And it really does cover the main aspects, or the most important areas of your life. So things like your financials, your love, health, relationships, your family connections, personal growth, that sort of thing. As the additional ones were cardio, strength, balance, and good nutrition. But it was about really seeing where you were in 3 stages. So where you were before the COVID-19 crisis hit, where you are now, and rating yourself out of 10, and where you want to be moving forwards. Because the beauty of this situation, and it can be seen a good thing, is that you don't have to rush into the life that you had before the crisis hit. I mean, depending on your situation, I obviously don't know where you are right now with everything, but most people's lives have changed or had a massive impact in one way or another on different levels. So for those who are actually at home and they're, contemplating their life, and, do they want to go back to the job they were in? This is a time to make change. So week number 2 is definitely a very good tool for you to use, the Wheel of Life, analysing your here and now. Week number 3 was your discovering your mental states, and I really gave like a generic overview of like what 4 states you could find yourself in. Because I think when you realise what state you're in, and especially if you're in a state that you don't want to be in, again, you need to make change or intervene with that state in order to move you from one state to another. Now, the best state to be in is flow state, and I talked a lot about flow state. But the sort of state, or the negative state, that most people do not want to be in, and I've been in there before, and I'll give you a quick brief story on my background and my experience with stress, depression, anxiety, but that's particularly a state that you do not want to fall into. I'm not saying you're there right now. However, 1 in 4 people do experience, unfortunately, depression once, twice in their life, or it might be even a number right now that might have, you know, changed a lot due to this COVID-19 crisis. So if you could actually identify the current set that you're actually in, and then you've got more awareness as to where you are, where you feel, and obviously you've got the power then to make changes into your life to then change your state for a positive one. Week 4, which was last week, was practicing gratitude. A very practical tool that I suggested last week, because when you're stressed, sometimes you just can't see the wood through the trees, because you are just taking on what feels like the world. The whole world, the weight is on your shoulders, and it's very hard to think clearly, act clearly, or make decisions, especially in the height of stress. So practicing gratitude, as simple as it is as an idea, as a concept, many of us don't actually do it. We're not encouraged to do it in school. I know in my experience, my parents never suggested it at all. I don't really hear of many of my friends practicing, you know, gratitude, but there are so many things that you can still be grateful for, should you feel right now that it's not a very happy place for you to be in. So again, last week, a very practical tool. I was encouraging you to practice the small things, the gratitude, the things that you can be happy for, makes you smile. So if you wanted to find these, I didn't mention the other links, but yeah, okay. So week number 2 was analyze your here and now. So they all follow the bit.ly and then / then the title of the week. Week number 3, bit.ly / work out your current mental state, Beckett. And last week would be bit.ly / practice gratitude, Beckett. And again, on this recorded version, I'll put the links so you can see. And also, if you were to ping over to Leeds Beckett Fitness on their Facebook page, and also their new YouTube channel, you can find the videos there. And also my page, Jen Lillian, that could be found on YouTube and also Facebook. So yes, that leads me to week number 5, self-care. And if you are following the Leeds Beckett Facebook group, we've actually been posting little posters, snippets of, like, you know, practical self-care tips. So if you've been following that, then brilliant, well done. You might have got some, you know, good information there. But this is what the majority of today's workshop is going to be. So just to let you know, you probably would need a pen and paper, not essential, but I recommend that you do, because I do want to have these workshops with a very practical element, so for you to draw as much value from them as possible. So pen and paper, feel free to grab a drink if you want, and we'll get started. So who is this for? For those really who are struggling with this uncertainty that we're all in. I don't know about you, but for me, I don't usually watch TV, but I'm finding myself more and more on a daily basis now watching that daily briefing given by the government. And I do attend those I don't attend, I watch the briefings with a little bit of hope, and it seems like every time I watch them, I walk away feeling a little bit deflated. And that's where I think everyone is, because we just do not know what to do, how to think, how to plan. It's quite frustrating. And yeah, if you are just struggling with uncertainty and you're feeling quite flat about things, or you're just going waves with your moods, you feel you're quite short with yourself or with people around you, or maybe you're not sleeping well at night, you're again experiencing stress symptoms, you may not even know that stress symptoms, or you're finding resistance to change, or you're just outright panicking, you know, reading all the negative stories that you are, you know, finding yourself and coming across online. Wherever you are, this is for you, because I want you to walk away and let you know that there is help out there. Again, when stress takes over, it can dominate your mood so much and you feel demotivated, and the whole point is you try and recognize how you feel, where you are in your mental state with your stress levels. Just to let you know that you do have control. As much as we all feel right now we don't have control over the main areas of our life, again pinging back to week number 2 when we talk about the 12 areas that we have, but you do have control over your finances. If you really think about things, if you use these tools and implement into your life, you can make change. You don't have to, again, go from that old life that you had before into the same life once we get given that green light to go back to normality. So yeah, again, these are practical workshop tools that I want you to gain value from and use. So again, any Q&As we can have at the end. So a little bit about me, just on a brief note, to give you some context, and if I'm, qualified to talk about stress, but I'm generally in. I do spin at Beckett University every Monday and Thursday at 5:15, and spinning for me is like my legal high. Absolutely love it. I am running at the moment. It's still not cutting it for me, but I'm doing the best I can. But I absolutely love my spin. But my passion for spin actually got me into trouble health-wise. It was back in 2012, I set up my first spin studio in Shanghai, China, which is just up the road from Wuhan, where this virus broke out. And one studio turned to two studios, and it was all fantastic on paper. We were making loads of money, and we had great credibility and great reputation in the community, and things were amazing. It was definitely my awesome heyday in business. But behind the scenes, because I didn't quite understand what it took to run a business, I gave myself away to making those particular two businesses successful. And it was just damaging my health because I was taking on too much. I didn't know where the stop button was. I wasn't looking after myself at all, physically or mentally. I wasn't eating the right foods. I was working until silly o'clock in the morning. I was spinning and running, burning myself. And I actually, to cut a long story short, I actually experienced business burnout. And it took me a while to come to that realization, because the medical professionals out there didn't quite understand what I was going through. And it was about 2 to 3 years, or even 4 years, I was just up and down with my moods, where I would work and mind all the businesses and do really well, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, I would just be flat out depleted, no energy. And every time that happened, I used to be in bed for longer and longer. And basically my burnout led to my depression, because I just wasn't snapping out of this cycle that I was in. And inevitably it led to my depression. So I basically got out of my burnout and depression back to optimum health through natural resources. And this is what I usually talk about in all of our workshops with Beckett University, because these 4 natural resources are readily available, and anyone can take advantage. So I'll talk about it in a sec, but that is my story. And if you are feeling stressed and it really is affecting your mood, your relationship with yourself, or even your loved ones, or it's affecting you being a parent because you're just so exhausted, or whatever the stress signs are for you. Because with me, in my experience, I was ignoring all the stress signals that my body was giving me. So in my experience, I was going through debilitating headaches. I actually was experiencing lampreythitis. Well, they thought it was lampreythitis. It was really just severe stress, but it's the vertigo that you feel. And my worst bout of that lasted like 9 weeks, where I was it actually made me physically sick. So, obviously I was at the very extreme case of stress. And if you ping back to week number 1 on the Are You Stressed assessment, I scored 23 out of 25. So obviously I'm very, at that time, about 4 years ago, I was severely stressed. But that's what I want you to avoid, because it became my new normal. And if you're just taking on too much right now and it's becoming your new normal, this is when I want you to become aware and make you realize that you need to make change, and that you need to start implementing those resources in your life. So, okay, what is stress? This is a stress management workshop. The amygdala is the fear response mechanism in the brain. And when we're stressed, it sends electrical and chemical signals to the motor cortex, which is our ability to take action. So when we're stressed, we either freeze, fight, or run away. So everyone's natural response to stress. But what people don't tend to realise, that you can get addicted to these chemicals that are released in the brain. And again, when the crisis hit, I'm sure most of us were just consumed with watching as much media as we could about the virus, reading all the blogs about the virus, listen to all the bad stories about the virus. And that is an example of us getting addicted to the stress, because again, it was quite a big shock to everyone, because it was quite a change we had to make overnight, really, with our, you know, lifestyle. So yes, if you're still like that and you feel like you're going into outright panic and you are just not coping very well, you really do notice a difference between where you are now and who you are as a person to where you were before, then again, these workshops will be very helpful for you. So yes, cardio, strength, balance, good nutrition. These are the 4 resources that got me out of my darkest days with depression, stress, and anxiety. So basically, Beckett University caters very, very well for these. So cardio, instant physical stress release. Obviously, I can't spin, but the Beckett University schedule caters very well for cardio. They do Zumba, body pump, and club dance classes. So definitely implement cardio into your life if you're scoring high on the IU stress assessment. On the strength side, again, a very important resource, improves your posture, reduces your risk of injury, and enhances your cardio workouts. So again, if you were to find on Beckett University's schedule, good strength classes would be yoga, HIIT and abs classes, and express Pilates. Especially if you work on a computer all day, you need to really keep your strength up, and it just makes life easier, especially if you've got kids and you're picking them up, or you need a hand with your shopping, and it just alleviates your back and neck pain discomforts when you're working online, you know, for long hours in the day. And balance is actually linked in with self-care, which is today's topic, and it's an instant mental stress release, and that is actually my secret. That was my resource that really got me out of my depression. So meditation and relaxation, actually learning to chill, because most people wouldn't actually see this as a skill to master, but for someone like me, I'm a high achiever, I'm always on the go. I never just, in fact, I feel guilty sitting there sometimes watching a film, because I think I could be busy doing something else. Bit of a normal or a common trait with entrepreneurs, but because I'm also a business owner, as mentioned. But yeah, balance is for me like the key to getting yourself back to optimum health if you are struggling with stress. And the 4th resource, good nutrition. And as we all know what foods to eat, but that can definitely be a tricky resource to implement into your life if you're feeling stressed, because we're not always motivated to go into the fridge and to pull out the fruit to make a smoothie. We'd rather maybe grab a bar of chocolate. Who knows? But I know when I'm stressed, I do like to have a little bit of sweetness to pick myself up. So I've actually got here a tool today, so feel free to either write this down or maybe make a few notes on your phone about self-care. So again, this is more about the balance bracket of the 4 natural resources. So I'm going to read out actually 20 self-care tips. Now, when I read them out, just listen to what your head's saying. Oh, that's stupid, or oh, okay, I like that one, or that's a bit daft. Wherever your head is, just go for the ones that you think, yeah, that'd be easy to introduce or implement into my life. I want you, out of the 25 that I've got, try and implement 5. If you're feeling the stress and you want a little pick-me-up, just do 5 of the 25 self-care help tips that I've got for you. So, are you ready? Okay. And they're not in any particular order either. So I'll be pinging like for things to do in the morning to then evening to the afternoon. I was just like researching online, and there's quite a few that I do anyway. But yeah, just let me know. Pick your 5, at least 5. You can do all of them if you wanted to, but 5 to be realistic. Okay, so the first self-help or self-care tip would be to drink some water first thing in the morning and eat some breakfast, because your body is rather dehydrated when you first wake up, having a 6 to 8 hour sleep, and breakfast is to break the fast, and most people struggle to eat breakfast in the morning. I know I do. I don't quite fancy food first thing, but it obviously kickstarts the body into action again. So even if it's just a piece of fruit, a banana or half an apple, just look after your body and start the day in the right way. So drink some water and eat breakfast within the first hour as well upon waking. Number 2 could be write down 3 things that you're grateful for. This actually pings back to last week when it comes to the practicing gratitude technique. It could be something so small like you're grateful for the weather today, you're grateful that you have your kids around, you're grateful that you can contact your mum via Skype. I mean, it could be anything, whatever you are really grateful for, and I would suggest that you change them on a daily basis, but just 3 things that you're grateful for. That's number 2. Number 3, as a possible tip, could be make a menu for the week, because we can, I think, when we're stressed, just end up binging on comfort foods to give us that instant, high or hit when it comes to chocolate, popcorn, cake, pack of biscuits. But if you were to plan your meals for the week ahead, if we're still in this lockdown situation, that could be another way of just looking after yourself and start looking forward to dinner time, and maybe learn a new recipe in the day to then cook in the evening. That could be another idea. Number 4, try a new exercise. So if you're exercising already, fantastic, keep that going. But, just keep a little bit of variety in your life. Maybe, again, head over to Leeds Beckett University's schedule. They have a whole load of classes that I still haven't tried. I haven't tried all of them. So, yeah, there's always something for everyone. And if you don't particularly like a class, at least you can say you've tried it. So that could be another way of self-care. Number 5, take a new route to work, or when you walk the dog, or when you take a walk yourself, or go for a run. So hopefully we're all trying to get out on a daily basis. We all know that fresh air is really good, and the government do promote at least going out for half an hour a day, but just try and change things up a bit if you've been in a 5-week pattern of just going for a run the same route you already have done. Okay, number 6 is have a wacky 5 minutes. Now, what do I mean by this? I like to blast the Radio 1 in the day, and especially when a track comes on that I absolutely love, because I love my spinning. I'm in love with music most of the time, and I just grab my cat or grab my little boy Oscar, who's 4, and we have a little dance. I mean, that is how I'm wacky for 5 minutes, and just sing, just be loud, be happy, just enjoy the moment, and you'll feel like that boost. I think anyway, that's my wacky 5 minutes. In fact, it's more than 5 minutes per day, because there's so many great tracks on Radio 1 that I like to spin to. So it's more about research for me, but just do something crazy, whatever your wackiness is for you. Number 7, as a possible self-care tip, is be selfish. Now, if you're a people pleaser, that I know I have been in the past, you'll probably find that there's no time for you in the day, but you need to change that. You need to have a good solid hour, or build up to an hour a day for yourself. And if you're sitting there thinking, I've got a business to run, I've got a full-time job, I've got 2-3 kids, I get that because I've been there. But if you were to slowly, again, implement these changes and start to give yourself more time, those people or those things around you will benefit from that. So that's what I had to basically learn to get myself out of stress and depression, is to not give so much of me away to my business, to my clients, to my relationships, friendships. When I started to learn that I need to look after myself, things started to change. So that's another tip. Be selfish. Move at least 30 minutes a day. If you are working from home and people are struggling to work from home, they found it quite a novelty to start with. However, right now, they're finding it difficult to take those breaks because they're in the zone, or maybe their workload's changed and it's even more than what they had when they were going to the office. Just make sure you keep moving at least 30 minutes a day. So if you are exercising, great, but you're not going to be exercising every day. Most people, even advanced people that exercise, go to the gym like 4 or 5 times a week. There'll be maybe 1 or 2 days that you're not actually going out exercising. So try and move for at least 30 minutes in the day, whether it's like gentle exercises. You can always, try and do Joe Wicks workout in the morning, like me and my son do every morning. Quite tough workout, but just try and do something. Number 9, as a possible self-care help tip, would be write down the compliments that people give you. Now, you could miss all the good energy that is coming to you, but I'm sure if you're surrounding yourself by awesome family and friends, obviously online, then you are given quite a few, compliments and positive vibes. So I just suggest, as another possible tip, you can just write these down. It will just make you feel better, boost your positivity there. Number 10, start your day with something pleasant. So For me, I've got a 4-year-old who jumps on me. He usually is my alarm clock, so I can't always have control of starting the day off that how I would, but we have cuddles in the morning, so that's the way I start things in a pleasant way. But for you, it could be a motivational video you find on YouTube. It could be that cuddle with your little ones in the morning. It could be having a chat with someone positive in your life, a good friend or a colleague, or even a family relative. Whatever you feel would just brighten up your day and get you out of bed and feeling energized. Okay, so number 11 is get your on. Try meditation. I wouldn't knock it. If you haven't tried it, just try it. If you are feeling the stress, it's definitely a quick, I think, tool to change my state of mind, and it definitely got me out of my darkest days with depression. Meditation was one of the key, and I didn't do it with any tablets or any sort of medical type help in terms of, you know, tablet form. It was all done through these 4 natural resources. So meditation for me is great, and I wouldn't start off doing half an hour meditations. Certainly start off from 5 minutes and build your way up, because you can actually meditate too long, too quickly, and it causes you problems. I was actually physically sick when I did 3 half-an-hour sessions at my local Buddhist centre in Leeds, because obviously the power of just sitting in silence, it is just incredible. It's so powerful, but I obviously wasn't ready. And a bit like the analogy of, like, you wouldn't go lift up heavy weights in the gym if you haven't trained yourself to do that. And it's the same with the mental exercise. Start off a minute or 2 a day. Myself and my little boy, we actually meditate for 3. He's done 3 minutes now. He does it every day, so I'm building him up to meditate. So definitely doable for any age as well. Number 12 is confront your negativity on paper. If you notice you are in a negative spiral and self-criticizing, or just in this negative downward spiral with thinking patterns and thoughts, write them down, look at them, and just judge them. Are they real? Do they make sense? And just really accept that they're just thoughts. Don't give them any power. Don't give them any momentum. Just write them down and then chuck them away, especially if you're really starting to feel that negative spiral. 13, a perfect way to practice mindfulness is to smell your tea or coffee, or smell a piece of chocolate, which sounds so random. But I think before the COVID-19 crisis hit, most of us, I know in my experience, we didn't have time to breathe, let alone anything else. It seems like such a busy lifestyle a lot of us lead. But if you were to actually just sit back, relax, just take 5 minutes and actually be present in the moment, and just anchor yourself to smelling something in your environment, like a tea or coffee or a piece of chocolate, and just do that for a couple of minutes, and just see how you feel then after that in terms of your mental state. Volunteer work is number 14. I mean, this came through today through the post local to Leeds. You can actually help and become a volunteer. So if that's something you wanted to do, if you do have time in your hands and you wanted to, you know, put your support out there to the community, then great. There are ways that you can actually volunteer. So that's something you could do to help yourself in terms of self-care. A planned family dinner. If you're not with family because you decided to self-isolate in separate homes, you can quite easily make dinner and time it together online, or you can actually sit down in your house and just make a family meal once a week, even just to really state that this is a family meal, if that would make you feel better. Sit up straight is number 16. Just be aware that we can be sitting at long periods of time on our computer, and you start to feel your backache and your neck go as well. Just always try, I think, for every 20 to 30 minutes, have a 5-minute break. That's the rule I tend to use. Even if it's going to the toilet, putting the kettle on. Okay, I see that it's now 6 o'clock. We've just got a few more left. It won't take long. Number 17 is detox from technology and work. Again, probably related to the last one. Just take a break every 20 minutes to half an hour from your work. And if it just means going out in the garden or just putting the kettle on, just be aware, because obviously you start to feel your aches and pains. You end up needing to do more strength work. Number 19 is schedule self-care time. And again, if you are used to being busy or putting everyone else first, your family and friends and not you, this is going to be a struggle for you, but just try and do it. I would suggest build up from 5 minutes a day to then a full hour every day for you. I mean, once we get given the green light, we can go out. You could do things like book yourself a spa day once a month, or book yourself I don't know, a cinema date, whatever you might enjoy. That is all about you. A shopping date, all for yourself. Or right now at home, it could be like you reading a book. You could listen to any type of music, or, you know, run a bath, anything like that. But just make sure you know in your head this is now classified or titled as you time, whatever that might be. 20, learn a new skill. If there's been a thing that you've always wanted to learn, maybe the piano or making music or anything. I mean, the internet is just hugely amazing for so many things, especially YouTube on the how-to videos. This is definitely the time, if you do have a lot of time on your hands, to start learning a new skill. Have a weekly exercise. If you don't have one, certainly suggest that you get one in your week. At least, I think, 1 to 2 sessions of whatever per week. Again, ping to Leeds Beckett University's schedule. They have so many classes under the cardio strength balance nutrition banner. And if you want to just build up to maybe advanced, like 4 to 5 times a week, wherever you are in yourself, in your schedule. 22, go to bed early or at the same time each night. I think it's very good to keep to a structured routine. You might feel you are like not going to bed till past midnight, you know, because we're still on this whole holiday high type bank holiday vibe, but we're not, are we? This is actually our temporary life right now. So I think it's really good to have that important, you know, rigid structure in your life, just to keep those stress levels down, for it to feel quite normal. I think if you're quite far removed from your previous, you know, lifestyle before the COVID-19 crisis hits, it's going to feel quite unsettling, because all of a sudden, you know, we're not in routine. Us humans love routine, we love structures, just, you know, how we're made. So definitely try and get to bed at the same time or early, or, you know, each night. Say no to negativities. 23. Do you have 1 or 2 or a few people in your life, family, friends, colleagues, that are just, you know, deep down they're not good for you in your life? Just say no to it. I mean, again, this is another skill that is quite hard to master, but once you understand the importance of that, it will become easier. Do not surround yourself with negative people at all. I mean, it's definitely our human rights. I mean, that person may not realise they're being negative, but you don't have to hear it, because over time you don't realise, and negative thoughts you just take them on, and it's hard. You don't want to take on other people's stuff as well. It's obviously good to be nice and kind to other people, but when you know someone's just in a negative spiral and they're just attaching onto you, yeah, it's not going to do yourself any favours either. So try and say no to negativity. Easier said than done. Okay, 24, take a self-care trip. Why not plan something? Not book, because obviously we don't know exactly when we're going to go back, but maybe something for next year. Maybe you can start looking into a trip of a lifetime type trip. Or you can start thinking about, you know what, maybe once a month I do want to go to a B&B and just have a weekend to myself without the kids, and just maybe lock myself away, or even just to work in a different location, whatever that might be for you. But take a self-care trip, and definitely have some you time, just experience a different part of your area. Maybe I wouldn't suggest maybe every month go abroad. You could do if you wanted to, but you know, you catch my drift. And then I'll put 25, get a pet. Now I've got 2 cats, and they've been through so much. I've actually brought them back from China, and they're just 2 awesome, fluffy friends for me. They've been through so much. They've been through my depressions, anxieties and stress, me becoming a mum, so many, you know, ups and downs that I've had with my business. And I just think like pets are just amazing. And I think the reason why most people love pets in their life is because they just love you unconditionally, and you won't obviously get a response back, but you would do in terms of love, and that is just amazing, isn't it? And it's they're very calming, soothing, and they definitely help your stress levels. Obviously take some consideration to getting a pet, especially dogs, obviously a bit more responsibility than cats, but you know, or maybe suggest a, you know, dog walk one of your friends once we're back into our normal lifestyle, like once a week, and you can have that as your self-care, half an hour a week or whatever. But I thought pets were a good thing for self-care. That is all 25. I'm hoping that you had 5 that you could think, yeah, I can implement into my life. Yeah, I like the sound of that. And the key, once you have your 5, is just to be very focused on the consistency. So every single day, if it is a daily self-care tip that you're implementing into your life, try and do it every single day without fail. And you'll notice that you just start to feel you've got that control back. You start to feel happier, and it's like a snowball effect. And maybe just include more if you've already nailed down those 5 in your life. And if you are struggling, I do suggest that having maybe an accountability buddy would be a good thing. So if you are wanting to maybe do an exercise class, maybe you can just invite a friend, because you might understand or know that you always end up counselling at last minute. But at least obviously if you've got a friend, you can do it together. And it's just a nice way to, you know, connect still and be in touch. Okay, we did obviously go over, and I apologise, and I do really appreciate your time, but I'm going to now unmute, and if you have any questions, then great. You don't have to have a question at all, but I do appreciate your time. I know there will be people watching this recording after we say goodbye today, but I do hope you've found some value, and you can start implementing some of them and to maybe lower those stress levels if you are feeling quite stressed right now. So here we are. I'm just going to unmute, and then we'll say goodbye. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Okay, has anyone got any questions? Lovely. Okay, nothing's coming up, so that will be enough for today then. Again, a big thank you, and I will... Okay, sorry Beth, I've just seen your message. Okay, would you like me... Did you want to leave your number? Then I can give you a quick call. I don't know, because this is going to be a recorded version. I'm not too sure if you wanted to discuss your difficult time in front of everyone. More than happy to have a chat offline if you wanted. If you're still there, then just let me know. Or what I'll do, I'll leave my number and we can have a chat if you wanted to. I do have some ideas for you, and I do completely understand that that must be a very hard situation to find yourself in, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, no worries. If you just send me a message, Beth, then yeah, we can talk after the recording. But appreciate you listening, and yeah, we'll speak to each other soon. And for everyone else, again, appreciate your time, and the recorded version will follow on the Leeds Beckett University's Facebook page, and also their YouTube channel. And you can find me either Jen Lillian on Facebook or YouTube. And again, if you've got any questions, then you're not on your own, just reach out. Okay, thank you very much, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.